2023 has been the best year in gaming in about forever. There have been so many good and fun games to come out this year, to the point I just couldn't do JackTheFallout Awards. So instead, here is a look back at some of the best games to come out this year. This video is mostly spoiler free, we're only going to be discussing the intros to these games unless I give a big warning. With that being said, let's begin. 2023 started with Hogwarts Legacy. This was a brand new game set in the Wizarding world, and yes, it is fantastic. After creating a character, your journey starts with seeing death.
But with no chorus. Yes. Whatever magic.
He's dead.
And after all of that transpires, the realization becomes apparent. The carriage is actually being pulled by Thestrals. This whole section is amazing. After you have finished the tutorial, you are placed in one of the 4 houses.
Ah, yes. A bit older than the others, aren't you?
What, is that an issue, you nonce? We got Ravenclaw on our original playthrough. The open world of Hogwarts Legacy is done expertly well. You can fly pretty much anywhere. And when you're exploring on your broom or other mounts, yes, there are other mounts in the game, it's brilliant. The open world is packed full of content, things to find, interesting things to do. It's absolutely brilliant. It is a true Harry Potter RPG. It really makes you feel part of this world, and I absolutely love it. In regards to the story of Hogwarts Legacy, I think that it is really well written, and it has some really good side content as well. There are some really memorable quests in this game. The spells and magic combat in Hogwarts Legacy is some of the best that I have experienced. And the game has pretty much every spell you can think of from the Harry Potter universe. I would say the magic in Hogwarts Legacy is easy to pick up, but hard to master. Do you want to be a naughty, naughty bad student? You could be like us and follow a small quest line that is completely optional that will let you unlock the bad spells, aka the dark arts. So now every time I meet a less than friendly fellow, I'll look at them and go, Avada Kedavra! And then they die. I saw death once, now I am death. No wonder my character's called Petrified. I'm not joking either. Hogwarts Legacy is non-stop with fun and engaging content. You also have the Room of Requirement that lets you build your own little safe space. And in turn, that lets you save fantastic beasts from the wild and enslave them for your own personal gain. No, I mean protect and nurture them. And on top of everything else, we have Hogwarts itself, which is filled to the brim with secrets and interesting places to explore.
Come to throw something else at me.
Hogwarts is designed perfectly. I absolutely love it. You can find so many Easter eggs in Hogwarts and secrets. It's absolutely amazing. Peeves is a ghost that unfortunately never made it into the movies. He can actually be seen causing havoc around Hogwarts, which can be quite entertaining at
Why
times.
do students always frown? Peeves should burn the castle down. Look at me!
The game has tons of random events around Hogwarts. Here's one of my favorites. With our year starting with Hogwarts Legacy, and it is a goddamn strong start at that, I think that whether you're a Harry Potter fan or not, you can definitely find enjoyment with this Wizarding World RPG. It is phenomenal. I also think that it is criminal that Hogwarts didn't make it into the Game Awards this year. The The best way I can describe Dead Island 2 is it is an absolute unexpected hit. Because if you don't know, this game was announced back in 2014, and I know 2014 feels like it was 1,000 years ago. But surprisingly, Dead Island 2 is actually a pretty goddamn good game. The game starts by introducing you to one of 6 playable characters, aka the Slayers, in a really brilliant title sequence, which I will link down below in the description because it goes on for a couple of minutes.
Identify as human! Where the hell did you come from?
Long Beach. I gave up my seat.
It's gotta be 20 clicks. Through them?
We picked Jacob, who smokes a cigar 24/7, jokes about tea and cake, and always talks about his mum. And remember, this is one of 6 characters who all have their own personality, and it is really quite impressive. So now we're going to talk about the undead, you know, the stars of the show. You're mostly going to come across the walkers. They're basically the cannon fodder. They're the ones that are going to take the most hits from you, the Slayer.
Shut up.
And then we have the runners, the Los Angeles crackheads, but now they're everywhere.
Cop it. Trust me, on the house.
And there are more dangerous undead, mutated big boys. You got the Crushers, aka Beach Bodies Bloodied Up. You have the Slobberers. Look what we have here. Biggie Smells. The Screamers. This is what happens when your local Karens get infected.
Get away from here!
And then we got the Butchers. They have no hands, but instead 2 large bone spikes. What a necromorph wannabe. And finally, we have the Shamblers. If I say hello, you say... All of the undead have different variations of their original forms as well. It's really cool. And now we're going to learn about the dynamic damage system that is on all of the undead. It is bloody, it is brutal, and it is fucking glorious. With an insanely large amount of weapons at your disposal, taking on the infinite hordes of undead can look a little bit like this. Warning, this is very brutal. Did I mention that there are guns? Like, a lot of guns? Like, a whole bunch of American guns? The way they made the dynamic damage system is bloody and brutal, and as you have just seen, you can tear the undead limb from limb. Exploring Hele was a fun experience. The graphics are absolutely stunning, and the game has that beautiful destruction vibe I love so much. There are some absolutely breathtaking visuals in this game, and I think it is fantastic. This game is definitely one that I recommend. Here are some things that I ran out of time to mention. For example, the story. I quite enjoyed it.
Darling, I'm so sorry about Robert.
Why? I mean, this is all his fault, the selfish wanker!
As well as the perk card system, which is also really good. And not to forget your mutation that lets you go into a zombie. I think for me, overall, Dead Island 2 is mostly positive. It's really, really fun. Switching from the sun-soaked sea of LA to a forest in the middle of nowhere with Sons of the Forest. This is a sequel to The Forest, a game that released in 2014, 1,000 years ago, when Dead Island 2 was announced. You start on a helicopter ride, you got off of Virgin Experiences with the task of finding a family of billionaires. I have very specific wants, okay? So after your unfortunate helicopter crash, your old buddy Calvin has sustained some damage. Can you guess what kind of damage Calvin has sustained? Is it A for AIDS, B for brain damage, C for cancer, or D for dermatitis? You are absolutely right. It's cancer. Jokes aside, I think Calvin is a really cool NPC. But if you don't want Calvin around, there are other alternatives available. Now all you have to do is bloody well survive from the dangers of mutated humans that live within the forest, as well as dehydration and dysentery. You unfortunately cannot get dysentery, it just sounded cool. If you spend enough time surviving and chopping down trees, three-legged Paris Hilton will start following you around like the creepy bitch that she is. Go away, Paris, no one likes you. And given enough time, she can become a permanent companion. The only woman in a 4-mile radius will start following you around like you've just used the last of your Lynx Africa you got 2 Christmases ago. I think that the forest itself is done exceptionally. The trees bunch together in a very realistic fashion, and I think that gives the forest itself a very eerie feeling. There are various secrets hidden within the forest itself, in good old forest fashion. The survival systems are done really well too. You have to eat and drink, duh, to survive. And also watch out for those pesky mutants. Speaking of the horror aspect of the game, it is absolutely spine-chilling when it really wants to be. Exploring the various caves around the island is terrifying. You never know what monstrosity you're going to come across. It is one thing dealing with the mutants during the day. When the creepies start getting involved, and I don't mean those weirdos you get on Twitter, the creepies, this goes from a simple survival game to a very terrifying horror experience. I highly recommend it. There's also a fantastic building system. Everything that you do during the building process has a specific animation dedicated to it, and it's phenomenal. The enemy AI is realistic and believable. If you kill one of the mutants, there's a possibility that this will happen. Okay, well that was completely unexpected. They sometimes cry on the bodies. I think all of this kind of immersion and realism should be celebrated in survival horror games. It's absolutely brilliant. Now that we're done in the forest, how about we head to the city that is New York with Marvel's Spider-Man 2. This game is an absolute masterpiece, another smash hit from PlayStation. The story is an easy 8 out of 10, with incredible moments that will leave your jaw on the floor. While at first I was not a fan of the new Peter Parker's face, but he slowly grew on me. Miles is a very well written character as well, and I really liked the Spider-Man dynamic. The city is as you would expect. It is very detailed, dense and fun to explore. The swinging and combat have been updated a lot since the first game, with the new wingsuit being a very nice addition. During the story of this game, Peter will eventually get access to the symbiote suit. The best way to describe it, with no spoilers, is it's very similar to the one from Spider-Man 3, but way more malevolent. Things take a dark turn and I love it. Each of the different symbiote abilities you gain access to are really fun, and honestly quite brutal to use. Miles' character really grows during this story, and I really hope that they make a Miles Morales 2, you know, with all of his
exaggerated swagger of a black teen.
While this game is relatively short story-wise, and honestly quite a short game, I still think that it deserves a place here. We platinumed the game in quite a short time, less than 40 hours, but the first 2 hours of the game are pure action. Very mild spoilers for a side mission that is available in Spider-Man 2. There are some really beautiful moments and missions in between all the action. The game covers many issues and shows them in a very respectful way. Unlike some games where certain things are placed in there for the sake of putting them there, none of it feels forced in Spider-Man 2. It all flows so well, and it is honestly done incredibly respectfully. It makes communities out there feel a part and welcome to this universe, and it is lovely. And I haven't even mentioned the gadgets you can get, the amount of suits that are available. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is a fun, action-packed, beautiful game, and we really quite enjoyed our time with it. How about we leave Earth and head to with Jedi Survivor. Jedi Survivor is a continuation of Cal's story from Jedi Fallen Order. And despite having many issues on the original PC release, we didn't experience as many on the PlayStation 5. It was actually a pretty solid game, and we had a lot of fun with it. The story of Jedi Survivor is actually really well written. I really liked it. I felt like there were some really good twists and turns in the actual story. It's honestly quite brutal at times. During many moments of the game, you can definitely see Cal's pain. The amount of shit this guy has been through just for being a Jedi. It really shows, and it is written incredibly well. They have a really good balance of giving you an extremely powerful weapon, but also making combat a bit of a challenge as well. It is some really well done systems, and the fact you can change your stances from dual blades to double-ended lightsaber to just single lightsaber, and you also have the blaster as well, which is also a stance, and you have the crossguard. There is a ton of variety in this game, and talking of variety, you can customize pretty much everything. All of the lightsaber customization in Jedi Survivor is done really quite well. You can customize every aspect of the lightsaber, including the blade color and the different colors of the parts. It's really quite impressive. You can customize your lightsaber to look exactly how you want, and I really like it. And it wouldn't be a Souls-like Star Wars game without some incredible boss fights, which I don't really have any footage of at the moment, but I don't want to spoil anything here. Let me just tell you that the boss fights in this game are absolutely incredible. There's one that really sticks out, and if you've played it, you know exactly what I mean. Jedi Survivor didn't get nominated enough. Mainly probably because it was fucked on PC, but it deserved a lot more nominations this year in the Game Awards, I tell you that. It's an expertly crafted game. It is incredibly fun with a beautiful, dark and twisted story. I love Jedi Survivor, and I cannot wait until we see a third iteration of this series, because I am so looking forward to seeing how Cal's story concludes.
I'll just use this! Your master's lightsaber.
And now we're going to have a bit of a quick fire round. Let's call it some very honourable mentions. Some of my favourite games this year that I just don't have enough time to talk in depth about, but they get a mention because they are phenomenal games as well. The Dead Space Remake. Having never played the original, okay, that's a lie. I played it once when I was younger, and a scary thing came out of an elevator and attacked me, and I put it down and never played it since. Well, until now. The remake, where I put my big boy trousers on and actually finished the damn thing, the enemies are scary deadly, and I absolutely adore the dismemberment. The atmosphere of the ship is done perfectly, and the game is extremely stunning graphically. I really enjoyed this horror experience. The first few hours of the game are honestly so terrifying because you don't have any of the gear you get later on in the game, so each time the necromorphs attack you, it is a literal fight for survival because of how the save states work. It's brilliantly done. Also, those bloody babies are the worst fucking enemy in the game. Fuck them, I hate them. In the future, I really hope to see a Dead Space 2 remake because I really enjoyed this game. Here's a surprise entry that you probably weren't expecting, or were if you saw the beginning of this video, but anyway, I have recently gotten back into Fortnite. And with the release of Fortnite OG this year, it has honestly been quite refreshing and a lot of fun. I've been teaming up with friends and just kind of casually playing the game, and I don't need to go through the systems of Fortnite. We all know how it works and how it plays, but it has just been pretty fun and enjoyable. Well, apart from when I get shotgunned in the face by a sweaty 12-year-old, but aside from that, yeah, it's alright. To stay true to my opinions of things, the new season of Fortnite is a little bit of a disappointment because I don't really like a lot of the guns available. But Fortnite OG was exceptional.
I asked for an equal. And this is what you find.
My favourite game this year is Baldur's Gate 3. This is a massive, detailed masterpiece of a game. This game first came onto my radar because of memes. More specifically, the bear incident. So the lovely people over at... they did a live stream that served as a kind of launch party for the game. And one of the moments in the live stream was Astarion fucking a bear. Don't worry, no bestiality, the bear was a druid. After laughing for a bit and thinking, that's a pretty ballsy move for the 2020s, I started to research the game a little bit and realised this might be something I enjoy. But I was hesitant because this game is turn-based combat, and I have never liked turn-based combat. Long story short, I ended up getting Baldur's Gate 3 because I liked the look of the cutscenes and the choices, and you could use a controller to play the games. So let me start by saying Baldur's Gate 3 is one of the best games that I have ever played. I don't think that there has been many games that have as much freedom of choice as Baldur's Gate. You can play it exactly how you want. Baldur's Gate 3 is set in a world of Dungeons and Dragons, and of course it uses Dungeons and Dragons mechanics. These dice rolls are as follows. The first one is saving throws. This happens automatically in the background. And the second ones are main dice rolls that you have to roll yourself to dictate whether something is going to be successful or not. The whole game is built on these systems, and if you fail, and you have to deal with it or save scum. It's up to you, it's your choice. Save scumming is reloading a save to get the outcome you wanted.
No like you. No like your smell. Go away, stink bag. Get!
The game starts by introducing you to the Mind Flayers, and also by forcing a horrible little tadpole through your eye. And then you are given the choice of choosing between one of 7 origin characters, or you could just create your own, but for the sake of this part of the review, I'm picking Lizelle to play through the tutorial. And then this beautiful cutscene will play. Depending on who you picked, you will wake up on the Nautiloid and have to fight your way out. Lizelle will jump off of a cliff and introduce herself, but in this case it's another Gith warrior. And then you are introduced to combat by a screaming little imp. Just like Hogwarts Legacy, the combat is easy to pick up, but very hard to master. Throughout the game, you will be presented by some very tough battles, and what you have to do is you've got to use your brain to get out of it alive, making tactical decisions based on what your enemies have done to come out on top. It's fantastic. It really makes you think, and I love it. The narration in this game is absolutely S tier. I really quite like it.
The helm's alien transponder. You made it in time.
Once you have successfully progressed through the tutorial, the Nautiloid will fly through the sky and eventually crash. You'll find yourself getting slapped in the face by a bit of squid and wake up on the beach passed out like you've just had a pretty heavy night out drinking. This is Lyra, my first character. I based all of Lyra's attributes and the way that she is off of what I strongly believe in, and it's being a really good person and wearing a pink thong given to me by Twitch.tv. The game also has a beautiful cast of characters who are all playable as well. Every single one of the characters that can join your merry band of adventurers has their own story attached to them. If you want, you can become friends or romantically entangled with these characters, or you can make them your mortal enemy. It's completely your choice, and that's one of the reasons why I think this game is absolutely wonderful.
Something the matter? Wait.
I think out of all of these characters, Lizelle,
Dismiss your weakest warrior.
and Karlach have got to be my favourites.
Halsin is one hench elf. I'm impressed. And glad he's on our side.
Out of all of the characters, I definitely prefer Karlach. She has a beautifully written story. She is also a wonderful person with an extremely good nature, and I really like that. She's wonderfully written. Believe it or not, Lizelle isn't the most popular character out of everyone, but I like Lizelle so much because of how blunt she can be all the time, and I find it so funny.
Yes, if you give it no further thought. But anomalies lead to surprises. Bad surprises. I understand much beyond your comprehension.
I'm going to be giving a spoiler warning right now because this is something I need to talk about because it's awesome, but it may spoil something that is possible further down in the story of Baldur's Gate, so skip to this time code if you don't want to know anything. Okay, here was your warning, and how about we begin? Quite early on in the game, you are approached by a guy named Raphael.
My, what manner of place is this?
Turns out Mr. Raphael is none other than a devil.
Two. 5 spits for an enemy.
And they will try and enter you into a contract or a pact in order to gain access to your soul. If you decide to give your soul to a devil for whatever, fame, power, money,
Free real estate.
that soul is the devil's for eternity. Why am I telling you all of this? Well, Raphael had something that I wanted. So while exploring the city of Baldur's Gate, I found someone that could potentially help me get this item that I wanted.
I welcome thee to the devil's feast.
But this exchange is not a free one. She wanted 20,000 gold to help me break into Raphael's home. I spotted a bank over in the corner of Baldur's Gate. Bank has money. I'll just rob it then. And that's exactly what I did. Honestly, easier done than said. I went back to this person that could get me into Raphael's vault, and there was an option there that said, oh, if you get me this special item, I will do it for free. And after completely rinsing out Raphael's home, geared to the teeth with all of his cool items, and just as I'm about to exit the portal and escape,
Time slows for a moment, and the air becomes thicker. The master of the house is coming.
Raphael comes home. He's brought some friends and he is very pissed off. And it's starting to become apparent that this might have been a bit of a mistake.
You came here uninvited, and you stole from me. Down comes the claw.
So you engage in battle with Raphael, and he is one powerful And on top of all of that, the bastard has his own theme song. And oh boy does this song bloody slap. It is absolutely exceptional. And it was at this moment, when the music started playing, I started to realise that this is going to be an extremely tough battle. I was not wrong, but I will never forget this moment, which is why I needed to talk about it, because this has got to be in my top 10 moments of gaming in my entire life. I'm 28, by the way. Holy shit, what have I gotten myself into?
Hell, hell, hell has its laws. Hell, hell, effects in the cause. Curtain falls, but hold your applause. Squirm, squirm, for now down here come the claws.
There are people out there saying that Starfield was game of the generation. They are wrong, it's Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 might even be the best game ever made, but that's a discussion for another time. I think that I've been chatting about Baldur's Gate 3 for long enough because I could honestly be here all day talking about all of the different systems and how great the story is and how great the music is and how great everything Baldur's Gate is. So if you haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 yet, I really hope that this video convinces you because it is exceptional. I'm terribly sorry if your favourite game this year isn't included. I really haven't had the time or money to play every single game that has come out this year. This includes games like Alan Wake 2, Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, even the new Avatar game has just released. It's a bit late to put it into this video. And then there's Lethal Company as well, which I've played, it's fantastic, but I feel like I need to put more hours into it. 2023 has definitely been one of the best years in gaming in a very long time. There's been so many top quality experiences that have released this year, and among the best of them is Baldur's Gate 3, which has quickly become one of my favourite games of all time, rivaling even that of The Witcher 3. I've been rambling on enough now, so thank you so much for watching. If you like videos like this, give this video a like and subscribe. See, look, the button's glowing. That means you have to do it now. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. It means the world to me that I can continue to do this. I've been JackTheFallout, and bye for now. They are always so sorry and so apologetic. I'm gonna pander to your every wish and belief and make sure you're comfortable and worship the ground that you walk on. I hate them.
While we're on this journey together, I fully intend to respect your religious beliefs.
I really wish it was more like this. While we're on this journey together, I really couldn't give a fuck what you believe in. For some reason, Constellation feels like Railroad 2.0, but somehow